jumping back to our very first start day, I'm trying to think of all the things that we actually wound up shooting. But I do remember Matt, Ryan, Ernest were all here, and then you pulled up, and because we were getting Ryan her outfit, and you pulled up, and that's when we found out we had no horses the next day.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Coggins tests were expired on Fran's horses.
Okay.
No transport though.
Okay.
Tell us about that.
What's that all about? I didn't even hear that one.
Oh, because the horses that we've used mostly through this thing, when the night before we were going to shoot, I get a call from the owners saying my horses don't have their papers are expired.
Oh, damn.
You have to have these papers to transport horses in the state of Texas when they're going to be around other horses. So she called and said, my horse's papers are all expired.
Damn.
And I'm like, oh, no. So we're sitting there looking at just having one horse.
One horse.
And
it was a one-horse town, you know what I mean?
yeah, you can't make a good I'm sorry. You do a Western without horses,
You gotta have a
it
horse.
kind of sucks.
It's a disease that horses get, and if they test positive for it, the horse has to be put down.
Gotcha. Can we put a mask on them so they can still go to Target?
We had no horses, so now I'm scrambling last minute. That morning, on the way to show up, I'm sitting there calling. I've Facebooked total strangers. And that's what happened, was the people in the Sabinal Canyon, I got the word out to them, and they started calling each other. They were reposting my request all over the place. And we had a young lady come up with 2 great horses, her and her friend. They brought out their sorrel horse and their Palomino and saved us that day.
So these are different horses than other than the other ones that I met.
Right.
Oh,
The
wow.
only one who's been here for every single shoot is Cherokee.
Wow.
The psycho horse.
Yeah, man.
She's not a psycho.
Hey, man, shout out to Peanut Butter
Oh,
before
my
we get on
God.
to the psycho horses, man. Peanut Butter's my boy. But let's get on to Cherokee.
Cherokee is Jake's horse.
That's right. She's
Now,
a
let me
sweetheart.
put it. How would you? He's still complaining about his foot getting stepped
I just
on.
want to let you know right now, Cherokee ruined my Purcells. She stepped on my foot, man. If y'all have ever had a horse step on y'all's damn foot that has already got an attitude in the first place with everybody else, I just want to let y'all know right now, it's very hard to get her off your foot.
Jake tells everybody on set that he is the only man that the horse has never thrown. Women.
Women can ride her all day long. She loves the women.
And then he goes around telling people like Matt, "Oh, get on Shan. There'll be no problem." And but you just told me 15 minutes ago.
Matt's problem is, okay, Cherokee hadn't been ridden in close to 2 years because I'd just been too busy and hadn't had time to get out there and ride her. And I hadn't ridden in that long either. So when she gets her on set, she gets a saddle put on her for the first time in damn near 2 years. And I cinched it up, and then I'm not stupid. I start leading her. I'm going to walk her a little bit to get her calmed down, and she took one step and went to the rodeo. She goes to bucking like crazy, and Matt's like from me to the wall right here behind, well, that wall, with his back to her, and she's just full on bucking,
Straight
and
in seconds, son.
he turns around, and so that's why Matt has been afraid of her since that day. But she settled down. I got her to stop, and then yes,
No.
she did.
No, that's a lie.
Stop.
I would like to point out also that the last day of shooting,
She stopped bucking. I went ahead and finished cinching her up all the way after straightening out the saddle and the blankets because they got out of line. And then I took her. I ran her on a lunge line for 20 minutes, and then she's great. It's just for the first 15, 20 minutes, she kept wanting to go back to the rodeo. Well, I won't let her buck. I feel when she's fixing to do it, and I just stop her, which any intelligent person is going to do, especially when you're as old as I am and your bones don't heal. I did not want to hit that ground. So she started, nope, we're not playing that game. And then she got to walking with the other horses. She settled down. And each day that we had worked, each day that she worked, she got better about that. I didn't have to go through as much before she got calm. But, that's just regular cow pony stuff.
That's some bullshit. Every day I was on set,
City
he
boy.
was screaming at Cherokee. Cherokee, calm your ass down. Get away from the Dominican. Cherokee, I need you to relax and get off the rocks, Cherokee. Stop bucking, Cherokee. Calm down. Slow down, Cherokee. Ho, get your ass over here, Cherokee. Cherokee ain't playing around. I just want to tell y'all right now, Cherokee ain't playing around. And then, don't think I'm going to let you get away from this. I remember the very last day of shooting. Oh, you could ride Cherokee, Dub. Now, what the f*** I want to ride Cherokee for? I done seen Cherokee throw everybody off of Cherokee. And he want to put Dub on the back of Cherokee to get Cherokee ready for everybody else to ride Cherokee.
The great and wonderful Carlos Leos who can do anything.
I can't ride Cherokee. I'm going to tell you that right now. I can't ride Cherokee. I'm tapping out. Cherokee ain't no punk, man. She stepped on my Steve Purcell's, man. I'm mad. My Chuck T's, baby. My limited edition Chuck T's, Cherokee.
City boy.
My limited edition Chuck T's. I'm mad. But I love Cherokee. Shout out to Cherokee. Shout out to Cherokee. I had a lot of fun with those horses, man. Shout out to Cherokee. Shout out to BB. BB was a bitch also. I just want to put that out there. BB was a bitch. But she wasn't as bad as Cherokee. Cherokee is very, very ornery. But I want to shout out to Peanut Butter.
Because he's smooth.
Very, very specifically Peanut Butter. And Brett, if you tell that joke right now, it's not a good time. But listen. But Peanut Butter, listen. We worked together before, right? I never thought I'd ever see Peanut Butter again. I have been showing everybody that picture of Peanut Butter. And remember when we showed up, I said, one of these horses tried to kick me in my nuts when I showed up, remember? And you kept trying to say, no, it wasn't these horses. I went back and started looking through the pictures, and guess what? It wasn't BB, and it wasn't Cherokee. There were actually different horses there on set that day, the very first day that I worked with Peanut Butter. I got pictures. It's different horses. So I know for a fact.
Cherokee, Peanut Butter, and Amigo.
No.
Amigo, I remember it was Amigo.
Maybe it was Amigo, but Cherokee wasn't there. She's not in the pictures. Like all the other horses that were there are there in the shot. I promise you, one of them horses tried to kick me in my nuts. And y'all try to tell me it wasn't one of them horses. I got it.
Horse didn't try to kick you in the
But shout out to the horses. They beautiful. Shout out to Peanut Butter, my
So
boy.
after we shot last night, we
Yeah.
were able to, or after we shot on Monday, we
You're
were
gonna tell
able
the
to
joke.
just ride, ride back to
You're
the.
gonna tell the fucking joke.
So he got to ride Peanut Butter for a little, for a
He
little
gonna tell
while.
the joke.
So Tuesday morning, I wake up.
It's bad.
He's out here on his computer, and I come
bad.
out and I say, "So Dub, how's your ass feel after all that peanut butter last night?"
You see what I got to deal with. You see why I'm only on set with these people every 5
You
years.
see what we have to deal with?
Every 5
We're in the
years.
ghost town. Some coyotes howl a mile away. And he acted like there was timber wolves just on the other side of the fence fixing
Well,
to
we
eat
were in the staging area, and we all heard it, and Dub wasn't in there, and there was like this moment of silence, and I say, "Okay, who wants to bet that Dub just shit himself?"
I am from South Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, man. I ain't never in my life heard 70 wolves. 70. I heard them when I was getting dressed.
It's probably 4 coyotes.
It was, I said, man, what the hell is that noise, man? It was your son. He was over there with the horses. He's petting, he's brushing the horses. Oh, they ain't nothing but some coyotes. It sounded like 70 coyotes and wolves, and like they coming, man. No, they'll be okay. He'll be okay. Hey, it's only 3 of us outside right here right now, and they sound like they creeping, baby. Oh, no, they more scared of us. It's 70 of them. And they scared of us? What you mean? It's 3 of us. It's 70 of them. The math don't add up.
He's talking about my baby son,
That's my boy,
calming
A.
him down.
That's my boy, A. He had my back. Shout out to A. That's my boy. This fool here on the inside, I'll bet you Dub is nervous. You think I ain't never worked with him before? This fool know me already. He heard ants one time and was like, I guarantee you Dub is out there looking at them ants. Go back and watch the video. I am legitimately out there looking at them ants.
You want to tell him about your walking bobby pin from Monday?
I ain't never seen no ant this big in my life, man. It was like that big and looked like a bobby pin, man. It's that country San Antonio stuff, man. Horses, man. I'm from South Philadelphia, man. Shout out to the 215.
And this is who I make a Western with.
That's right. I'm in the Western City, boy. I'm in the Western. How y'all go? I'm an actor. It's my Denzel moment.
All right, which is a great transition. Which, despite your city boyness, you actually did a hell of a job.
Thank you, man.
So you've been asked this a couple times, but not really knowing what they were asking specifically.
Yeah.
You play somebody who's going to wind up being a very controversial character, and I can say that because when we made the short "No Righteous Man,"
Right.
one of the you could have heard a pin drop through the whole theater.
Yeah.
Everyone was enthralled by that movie, but it didn't get a single award
Yeah.
because of a particular character.
Yeah.
And we brought the beginnings of who you play, Andrews, from No Righteous Man. We really embellished him and made a much larger character and made him the villain in this, who is a former slave owner, who happens to be
a black man.
How do you feel people are going to handle that, and why?
Man, it's such a serious question. Legit. Not trying to take away from who I am or anything. Obviously, I'm a comedian, but it wasn't difficult for me to accept the role because I'm a historian. I love history, regardless of what the realism of the history was. The fact remains that it's history. It happened. And so when you presented this idea to me, I was all in. There was no, I don't think there was a hesitation. I think it was instantaneous. And the more I began to read for the role, and the more I began to realize this is 18 something, like this is real. There are people that are going to see this or are going to hear this, whatever it is, and they're not going to understand what it is that you're trying to do. And that's because they don't understand history. This happened. As hard as it is for people to accept and for people to acknowledge, this happened. There were black slave owners. And so I think with the fact that it's hard to present history as it is because it's hard for people to accept history as it is. I think when I first realized what the role was, it was like, yeah, I'm all in. And then when I started reading it and started realizing this is legit, like this is, I'm gonna get shot after I do this line, I'm gonna get shot where I come from. But I began to realize as I was going through the character that if I do get shot or whatever, it's because people don't understand that this is real. Like this legitimately happened. And I thought it was so important to, even though I'm a comedian, really bring some legitimacy to this role for both perspectives. From the perspective of, listen, if we have to understand history, right? People of color have to understand it. This is just real. It just happened. And people that are not of color to understand how hard it is for someone of color to legitimately be in a role, where there are just so many hot topics, especially right now, in the world that we live in, around this perspective. So I think going into the role, it was really cool jumping into it, knowing, this is a different type of a role for me. As I began to develop the character, or as the character began to develop, I began to understand the seriousness of it. I mean that's about as real as I can get. Going through it, realizing, fuck, man, you know what? Maybe I'm a fictional character, but wow, I'm a character that was legitimately part of the 1800s, man. And so I think it was important for me to really portray that character that people will hate because it was real, because it was history, but also empathize with, because it was a part of a business and a part of something that they pretty much knew their whole life. Growing up, they didn't know the whole, slave mentality, and I just thought it was just genius how you put that together, man. how you were able to bring in, someone who was legitimately part of that role. Most people would portray that role. I mean, we've seen Django Unchained, right? Like most people would portray that role where this is a legitimate bad guy, him, right? Like, and I think the way that you wrote this character was like, yeah, he's legitimately a bad guy, him, but only because he's a product of the time. But at the same time, I feel like you wrote this character for people to understand this is a real person. Like this dude, even though he's fictional, he's somebody that has to identify to who he is and still not give a to who other people think that he is.
Yeah, and it is based on real people.
Yeah.
I mean, there was specifically Andrews was based on a Louisiana sugar plantation owner who had between 150 and 200 slaves. So you have to kind of get in your head what type of person that could be.
Yeah.
And once you realize, first off, that person did exist, then it's a lot easier to write that character because now you have to, and it's not a case of trying to empathize with the character or justify him in any means, but identifying with him as like, how do you justify that in your own head?
Yeah.
And I think that's where like Hollywood gets it wrong today is they think that when you do that, you're justifying that character.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're finding how that character justified it in their own head.
Yeah.
Not to justify the actual action itself.
Yeah.
But that person had to go. This is, I don't see anything wrong with this. Or, maybe this is wrong, but this is why I'm doing it.
And that's just it, man. I think that the way that you wrote this character, it's controversial. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But at the end of the day, you have cowboys, you have marshals, you have that's plain and simple. But I have yet to see the way that you've written this to be able to come out to where it's portrayed, regardless of who plays the character, to where it's portrayed as somebody that this is a real character, right? Like and that's what I try to do. I tried to bring to the fact that people would see me as maybe this is a real person that actually existed because he was, And I've asked a few of my boys, what do you think about me portraying this role? And I can give it a 50-50 split. I've had a couple of people of them saying, man, I would never take that kind of a role. And I've had a couple of people saying, well, it's history. It really, really happened. And I think the way that you wrote it, I don't think it's designed like the Hollywood design, where when you have that person that plays that role, they're playing that role, and they're, I think the way that you wrote it is so genius in that it does portray that history aspect of the historical aspect of it, where people will look at it from a perspective of, hopefully that I brought it to that character, that they look at this guy and they say, wow, here is this person that is considered these other people, but doesn't consider himself these other people because that's the time that he lived in, So I think that you wrote it well. I think the actors that you have brought on really, really set that whole entire setup well. It was refreshing to really be on a set like that where, quite honestly, I was expecting to hear, let's just keep it real. I was expecting to hear some words I didn't really want to hear. I thought I was going to whoop somebody's ass. But it didn't, and it just portrayed that way. And the people that were set up around that character understood this role of Andrews as he's just a sucker, man. He's not a black dude. He's not a white dude. He's just a bad guy. And I really, really like how you set that up. Sorry, I'm rambling, man. Say something, man. Help me out here, brother, because you're Marshall, baby.
I'll jump in there, which was going to be another transition. Now, you and I have worked with each other for years. Actually, not as long as Dub and I have, but you've been in more films than he has.
Right.
And I'll give you about, I've watched you come up from a 50% actor to about an 80-85% actor. On this film, I saw 150%.
Killed it.
Every single frame of that, I no longer see Jake Etchman.
Killed it.
I don't see Jake anywhere in that role.
Especially
I
that
see Buck
last
Johnson.
Fucking frame, dude. I'm sorry, man. I got to jump in here, man. That last frame that you did, I ain't giving nothing away, man. But that last scene that you did where you're, doing what you're doing after the dynamite and all that kind of stuff, dude, I knew instantly that wasn't the script. I didn't read it. I didn't read that part of the script. And I knew instantly that was that part of the script. And you brought that so much that you brought Martinez into
Yeah.
a whole nother part of that
Yeah,
script
we,
also.
we both wrote a few lines right there at the end. Of it.
I was like, damn, they killed
But I
it.
think you planned that.
No.
Because no, I think he planned it because he knows how me and Ernie are.
Yeah.
He knows the relationship we have, and I think that's why he wrote minimal stuff there because he knew that we would expand on it. Didn't you? Didn't you think that we were going to expand, or were you expecting us to do just that 2 lines?
I think that was y'all. I think
A
that
bit
was
of
y'all.
both.
Man.
I mean, I probably had the intention that okay, we'll get on set and we'll see how it flows. But
Yeah.
I didn't have any idea that you're going to take in that.
It
direction.
flowed, dude.
Oh,
like
okay.
I mean,
Because
standing back.
because I don't expect that from you two.
Yeah.
You know, I expect, you know, and this being, you know, I mean, these are all about full disclosure. So I expected you two to be much more machismo and wanting to be much more I'm the hero cowboy.
Bro.
And I didn't expect you to go that direction with it. So I would have never seen that coming.
You look like legitimately. I mean, obviously, I'm not in that scene, even though you're potentially chasing me in that scene. I saw from the other side of that. I saw a straight ad lib that was real. Like there was a one particular scene. Like each time you did that, things changed.
Right.
And there was one particular scene that you brought out where you brought it back again. And I could realize that's when you captured that moment. There was a moment where when the dynamite blows up, full disclosure, I ain't giving nothing away. I'm just remembering stuff. When the dynamite blows up, I remember you guys get up and everything, and Ernie, it's vivid for me. E grabs you, and you're like, no, I'm good, brother. I'm good, brother. Like, that was real. Like, that was something that I could see from this side of the camera saying, well, if this particular scene, I ain't giving nothing away, but if this particular scene actually happened and the deputy marshal ran back to the marshal saying, you know, are you good? I could see that happening, and it wasn't in the script. I know for a fact it wasn't in the script because I read the script. And you brought that. And then when he yelled, cut, perfect, do that again, you brought that same energy. And then the very next line was, you son bitch, I'm going to get you. Like it was almost like you were continuing off of what was already perfect. And it again, I wasn't in the scene, but if I'm sitting back watching the film, I'm like, that's what I would have wanted to see, the dude yelling at the bad guy.
No,
I wouldn't have just wanted him to get up and just be like, you okay? You okay? Right? Like Die Hard or some like that, right? Like this dude is, no disrespect to Die Hard, but
Bruce
like,
Willis will whoop your ass.
I don't want no trouble with this. I got a man crush on Bruce Willis. But it was the way that you delivered that, right? Like it was a continuous, and that was based on what Brett was just saying right there, based on the other films that we had been in before. That I was like, damn, he's bringing that. I was legit on the other side, like, yo, he's legit. And then I came back and was like, he was talking to me. I was like, he was talking to me on that one. That was real. You brought that, man. That was legit.
Well, to your character.
No, I wasn't in that. It was you and
No.
Martinez. It was
Right,
you and
I
me.
know. But you said I was talking to you. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to your
You
character.
killed that.
I was talking to Richard Andrews.
You killed that. You killed
I
that.
had so
whole
much
scene.
hatred in my heart for Richard Andrews.
I told you he
at
was
that
talking
moment.
to me. Didn't I tell you he was talking to me? You killed that scene, dude. I mean, and it brought
thank
E. It brought E into his light. I saw that from the side also because when he grabbed the bottle and was drinking, that was different than the first scene when he grabbed the bottle and was drinking. He just had the bottle and he was drinking. When you delivered that, I don't want to give it away. I ain't going to tell you what he said because that's the best lines in the film. But when you dropped those lines, like I even saw E, he was legit. He was gripping the bottle. He grabbed it and then you grabbed it and it was real. Like that. That was legit, dude. That was not Yechmanek. That was Marshall
Buck Johnson.
Buck Johnson. That was great, dude.